Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Georgia McGilly from Georgia-Beth Photography, and today I'm going to be giving you some wedding tips on your guest list. Do's and don'ts of how to plan your guest list, who to invite, who not to invite, all that sort of thing. So before we go ahead, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any more wedding inspiration and planning content, and we'll get straight into it. So what I want you to do, very first thing I want you to do is come up with a number. Now, this can be dictated by loads of different things, by your caterer, by your venue. So talk to your venue, find out how many people you're allowed there, and then work from that. So when you come up with your number, you're then going to split this list into categories, and you're going to assign a certain amount of people for each category, and that is totally down to you. Your partner might have a really small family, you might have a big family, so you're going to allocate more numbers to your family. So it's totally up to you what numbers are in each category, but I recommend that you stick to those categories. So what you've got is, you've got the bride's family, you've got the groom's family, you've got bride's friends, groom's friends, and then if your parents are footing the bill and they want to invite some of their friends, I would go ahead and allocate them a number. So if they're paying for a massive amount of their wedding, you can't stop them from inviting some of their friends to your wedding. But I would say, you know, you might say, Mum, Dad, you've got 10 friends to pick, go ahead and pick them. And then that kind of prevents you from having to say no to particular people and all that sort of thing. It just makes it a lot easier. They know that you've got space for 10 of their friends to come, and so then between them they can discuss who they want to invite. If you're thinking about other kind of groups of friends, so if say you met at uni, went to uni together, and you have a whole group of friends that are both of your friends from uni, then you could kind of put them in a separate category if you want. But make sure that you split the whole number of guests that you want to invite into those groups correctly before you go in and start writing down your names. Okay, so now I'm just going to give you a little list of do's and don'ts in picking your guest list. These obviously a lot of them are down to opinion, but by my kind of experience, the troubles and stresses that I've seen of different brides and grooms struggling with putting their guest list together, or struggling actually on the day with people that they didn't originally want there but kind of felt guilty to invite. These are kind of the tips that I've come up with to help you guys. I want you to remember that this is your day, and you can definitely involve family, you can involve as many people as you like in helping you out with your day, but it is your special day, so you need to have a little think about what kind of vibe you want going on while you're there. Are these people that you are going to be in a few years looking back and being really happy that they were at your wedding and in the photos, or would you rather them not? So just kind of have that sort of stuff in the back of your mind, and I think if you're clear from the get-go, that can also prevent a lot of arguments and kind of stress with picking who's coming. So do's and don'ts. Things like extended family. So if you've got 4 cousins and you invite one of them but don't invite the rest, then that's not that great. So what you want to do is make sure that kind of like, if you're inviting one aunt, at least invite all of the aunts on that side, you know, all your mum's sisters rather than just one of your mum's sisters, or things like that. So just have a little think of like what categories of people there are. Is there somebody that's going to be really offended if you only invite one of them and not the rest? Another rule is partners. So +1s, do we give out +1s to everyone? No way. You don't have the budget to give a +1 to every single person, okay? But have a little think. Are you inviting a friend that you don't really know her husband very well, but they have been married for 5 years? He should definitely be invited too. You know, they've been married, they are together, they're a couple, they should come together. And that's kind of, as a general rule, I would say if a couple have been together for at least 6 months and are pretty serious, if you're inviting one of them, invite their partner too. Okay, kids. Decide whether you're going to have kids or not, and I would choose a cut-off age. Now, if kids are a huge part of your family, if you have your own kids already, then you might want to just say, yes, everybody bring their kids, but then obviously you have to include them in the head count because you will still be paying for their dinners. A typical cut-off point would be something like 12. So 12 years and under can't come, over 12 can come. Or you can have specific kids that can come. So say you're having an adults only event, but you have a little niece who's going to be a flower girl. Of course, you can invite them, and other people are not going to be offended naturally because they know how close they are to your family. If you're inviting friends who have young kids, just make sure that you're really clear from the get-go. So say something like, We're having an adult only party. I'm really excited for you to be part of our day. So grab a babysitter and your dancing shoes. Come along and have some fun with us. You know, something like that. Okay, then thinking about other groups. So things like co-workers, your church group, any sort of like classes that you might go to that you have friends there. Have a little think about how you're going to invite them. If you invite one, you kind of need to invite the rest unless you have a relationship with them outside of that group. So if you go out regularly on a Friday night with your co-workers, then go ahead, invite those 3 girls that you go out with, or those 3 guys, or whatever, you know, whoever they are. But if you don't kind of socialize with any of those people outside of work, and you're choosing to invite 1 or 2, unless they clearly are your really close friends, or they're the people who are in your office and there's other people in other offices, I would, as a general rule, make sure you don't invite them at all or invite all of them, because that's an easy way to kind of have people really offended. Another question that I get brides and grooms kind of talking about a lot is, oh, well, they invited me to their wedding, so I should probably invite them back. You know, even if you weren't originally planning on inviting them, you've been to their wedding, so you should probably invite them to your wedding. Now, this is a tricky kind of subject. In general, again, I would always say it's your day, you have who you want there, but if they have invited you maybe in the last year to their wedding, I would consider inviting them back as a favour. You know, they've gone and footed the bill for you to have a lovely meal at their wedding and be a part of their day, so think about that. But if it's like over a year ago and you haven't spoken to them since, I think they're going to understand. So as you're going through these lists and kind of sectioning out people, getting rid of the kids or getting rid of extended family, or, you know, kind of figuring out who you're going to invite, then I want you to just think about these few questions as you're looking at each name. Things like, would I take them to dinner? Because that's basically what you're doing. You're taking them to dinner and paying for it, okay? And a lot more as well. So that's kind of a question that you'd ask. Would you take them to dinner and pay for it? If you would, then they're probably a best bet. They're probably good friends or really close family. My second question is, when did I last see them? If you haven't seen them in 4 or 5 years and they haven't made any contact with you, I would feel no obligation to invite them at all. You don't need to invite people that you don't really have a relationship with. It's different if they're kind of like, were really close and then they've now moved a bit further away and you just haven't had a chance to catch up, but you've been meaning to. That's different, but you will know each individual situation. So if they haven't made any effort and you haven't spoken to them and you don't have that sort of close relationship within the last kind of 2 years, I would say don't worry about inviting them. Thirdly, have they had an impact on your relationship? So if they were the instigators of your relationship, they got you together, if they, you know, anything like that, even if you haven't spoken to them recently, I would definitely invite them because they're a big part of who you are as a couple. Okay, so moving on. As a general rule, about 20% of your invites that you send out, 20% of them will be declined. So you do have a little bit of wiggle room. So if you're kind of verging on the edge of feeling like there's a little bit too many, or you're going over your capacity, if it's only kind of 3-5 people over, I wouldn't worry too much. But you want to make sure that, yeah, you've invited them and that you also have people maybe on a little B list for if people respond, and you have plenty of people respond and say that they can't make it, then you've got other people you can go and invite instead. Or you could just keep the numbers down and hey, there's nothing wrong with having a smaller wedding party. Okay, so now what you want to do is write your list down. So once you've figured out all the categories, figure out all the numbers, figure out who they are, just literally jotting it down. It can be scribbles on a bit of paper. It doesn't have to be like a fancy spreadsheet or anything. Then that's when you want to kind of start organising the names, ready to send invites out. And what I would say is make sure that you've got their name, that you would have the number of people represented by that name. So for example, my best friend from university, if she had kids, I would put her name, but then I would put that there was 4 of them because there's her new husband and 2 kids, you know, something like that. So you'd have the name, the number of people, and then what category they're in, whether they're bride's family or groom's family, brides or groom's friends, they're like your church group or your dance class, something like that. Put what category they're in. Okay, so then once you've got all that, that's when you get down to collecting numbers and addresses and stuff, and it, depending on who you've invited and what categories they are, probably between you and between your parents and things, you'll be able to figure that out. So you want to make sure that you've got email address, phone number and actual written address. Have all 3 of those for all of them, because let's be honest, when it gets to your RSVP deadline, probably only like 60% of will have responded, and you're going to have to be chasing that other 40%. So you want to make sure that you've got like at least 3 different ways that you can contact them to make sure that you've got their responses before you go and kind of okay the final numbers to your caterers or venue or anybody like that. If you are just starting to plan your wedding and you're interested in more wedding planning help, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notifications bell. And also in the description below, I've got a link to my free wedding checklist and planning guide. So go ahead and grab that in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week with our next load of wedding inspiration tips.